Hi, I'm Chris Nedza, Lead Entrepreneur in Residence of the Advanced Technology Development Center at Georgia Tech. We're the state of Georgia's technology incubator. Welcome to Season 1 of the ATDC podcast, Executive Bytes. We focus on the startup founders in our portfolio, what sparked them to launch their companies, the market problem they've solved, and even how they overcame the thoughts of quitting when times get rough. Enjoy. Welcome back to the next episode of Executive Bytes. We're part of ATDC, and I'm going to be talking to Kevin Wu, who is the CEO of NicklPay, and but my co-host is Jonathan Schwartz with a super cool company called OrthoPreserve. And Jonathan, I wish I had known about your company because you guys help people with you've built this meniscus implant, and I had knee replacement surgery. I wish I'd have known about you. So anyway, so man, thanks for co-hosting with me. Let's drill Kevin down to a nub.
Let's do it.
Something interesting about you, Kevin, is you. So NicklPay, we're going to get into the business, but before we get into that, a little bit about you. You actually started in the fireworks industry.
Yes.
And but you were an EMT.
Yes. So I was an EMT in college. I wanted to be a doctor, and as every good son does, you had to be a good doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. I was none of those. Right.
Good son. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And so my family has been in fireworks since the 1800s.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to be as far away from that as humanly possible, and then I ended up not being far away from that at all.
Yeah.
So, but good thing that you were in that business because it really spurred the idea of NicklPay,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, and I think if I get the story right, basically you built, you couldn't find a solution to handle the point of sale, distribution, collections, all of that stuff for the fireworks industry.
Yep.
That's a very small vertical market. So you essentially put together a team and built a much more robust yet simpler to use.
Yeah, so it's if you can imagine now, and I'm gonna put everybody in like the seat of like a small business owner, right? That just sells a product at a certain time period, and when I came into the industry, a lot of these customers that had been my family friends for a long time were saying, "Hey, Kevin, I can't. I sell my fireworks like 14 days out of the year, and I can't seem to get my pricing right or anything like that. I sell like a bottle rocket, and I sell a pack of 3, and those are 2 different products, and I can never keep my inventory right. So you know what I do, Kevin? I start at the beginning of the season. I go, I've got 10 of these, and I start at the end of the season. I got 4 of these, and that's what I sold. And I go, well, how do you know that someone just didn't take it? And they go, I don't know. That's just his business, Kevin. Don't worry about it. And I said, I think you can find a better way.
All right, so you identified a little bit of a problem. How did you go from there to where you are now?
So we found a way to kind of manage that inventory for them properly, right? And how we did that was just we ensured that the product that was being sold was broken down to the smallest individual selling piece, and then they could then flexibly sell that little piece in whatever way they wanted. So in this case, I'll use like a can of Coke for an example, right? You can buy a can of Coke in a 6-pack. You can buy a can of Coke as a single, or you can buy like a 36 case of Coke.
Right.
And then you're still buying Coke, right? And so the inventory should really just be that piece, and you build it up to 36. So if you sell a pack, you buy 6 of them. You buy a case, you buy 36 of them. And so by doing that, we were able to take that business and shrink down their inventory size we've taken inventory sizes from in the millions down to the 30,000s.
Millions being millions of SKUs?
Yes.
Okay, down to
like 30,000 SKUs, just because of the way they sell it, right? And so what we identified was that a lot of companies face the same issues, and that's when Pyromart became NicklPay.
Okay, all right. So there's lots of inventory management systems out there,
Yes,
all the way from, accounting systems that act like that to Oracle has, or SAP, which stands for never ever finished implementing. But sorry, SAP. What is different about your product, and why in the world would you go against those tons of different solutions?
Yeah, we're not really going against them. Actually, we implement for our clients. We sometimes implement those systems on our back end, and what happens is that if you're trying to sell something online, you might use Shopify, right? You try to sell something in store, you might use Square, and then you sell something wholesale, you might use an Excel spreadsheet, we'll say. And we combine all those into one singular system because we sell things so flexibly. You have a price list, you apply it on top of the product you're selling, and you can then deploy it to a certain channel that you're selling from, right? And so all of that coming from just fireworks was something that was kind of insane, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
It was definitely something that was a shift in another direction.
I mean, I talked to you probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were thinking about it, and then bam, you're in and you're doing it. So congratulations to you. I mean, you definitely have a vision, and you execute and implement.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get everything like started? Did you take your team from like the fireworks company and get started, or?
Yeah. So crazy enough, I had an application that I designed before all this that allows you to shoot fireworks from your phone.
Oh.
And so that's how I got to know a lot of these retailers. I said, Kevin, you've got all this information about my company in your app. Why can't you just help me sell my fireworks? And I said, okay, let me figure out how. And so we took that same team and we just applied it to building a point of sale system. And then they just said, Kevin, you've got a point of sale system. Can you help me sell online? And we said, okay, we'll help you sell online now. And then that's how we started to split up all these services into different channels. And that's how our system kind of grew.
Give me your ideal customer.
My ideal customer is a company that comes to me and says, Kevin, I sell my product 3 different ways, like retail, wholesale, and online, and I have 6 different systems. And I say, perfect, you're my peep. Come to me, we'll talk. We'll take those 6 systems, turn it into one.
Okay, so when you say product, I sell not an iPhone, but let's just say I sell a phone.
Sure.
And I sell it. I have a store, so that's the retail.
Yeah.
I have the online, and then what else do I have?
Say sell wholesale. Say your Apple.
Okay.
Apple could be my peep. Come on, Apple, talk to me.
Yeah, there we go. If I help you land that, I am riding on your plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget Jonathan and I.
Yeah, right. But like, I mean, it's any company that is a small mom and pop. So we have Halloween stores on our platform now. We have furniture stores on our platform. They all face the same issues. They've got an older system. They want to upgrade to a new system, but they want to make sure that their new system can manage all their different channels of sales. So instead of saying, I'm going to move from SAP, right? And we want to sell it online. What do you have to do? You have to probably buy a new website designer and do all that on the side, connect them to. You don't have to do that with NicklPay. It's all in one system.
So so they don't have to use Stripe, or they can use Stripe?
They can use Stripe.
Okay.
They don't have to use Stripe.
Yeah.
Anymore. Yeah.
I think that's the key. Like you can plug in and out or go in and out between these different systems.
Exactly.
And augment them.
Flexibility is key here.
Is it the reporting that's robust enough that gives you the ability to understand what's going on? Or
yeah, so we're implementing a lot of machine learning mechanisms into our systems as well. We're not riding the AI train. We just realized that the AI train was very helpful for our customers to be able to talk to their data, right? To be able to say, hey, Nickel AI, how are my sales for this store doing, and when should I replenish? Because you're all under one system and one single point of truth, that AI can really help that company now make really informed decisions.
Why doesn't everybody call you up and say, I want it? What is a holdback? I mean, I kind of think I know some of them, but what are some big holdbacks? Because
we work a lot of old family industries, a lot of times it's the older generation and the newer generation. The newer generation really wants it. The older generation says, well, I've been doing this thing for the last 30 years. It's been fine, right? And it's the education process to ensure that we properly display how easy it can be, but how powerful it can be as well. And so a lot of the switching hesitation can definitely just come from the fact that they've got their old system, but they're entrenched in their ways, and it's up to us to ensure that they feel comfortable with changing.
People don't like to change their point of sale system.
They do not.
It's a hassle,
yes.
and there's usually a lot of promise from the point of sale vendor, and it's all kind of like they know that there's a crazy uncle in the closet, like what's the flaw with the system, and they don't find out until too late.
Yes.
How do you guys combat that? And I know your system is super good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, how do you combat that? And
it's from experience. We listen to our customers religiously. And I can tell you right now that the loudest customers are the customers that deal with the loudest product, and that is fireworks. And because they sell 14 days out of the year, nothing can go wrong.
Okay, that's really interesting. I've also found that the loudest customers are the one who want all this customization.
Correct, yes.
How do you deal with customization?
We give them an invoice for the customization, and we say, hey, we can definitely do this because our entire system is based off API. So we can do, my developers love to tell me we can do anything.
Yeah.
And I understand that they possibly can, but we just have to make sure we weigh that balance with the customer, right? To say, hey, you have a very specific need and we can meet that, or we can integrate with something that we know you already use.
Yeah.
And the switching then is no longer a big scare.
Yeah, I was going to ask kind of a similar question. Like, you have kind of this base package and you add customization for certain clients, but are you also continually like
developing?
100. Like updating the base package, making improvements?
Yes, and the major one that we actually are trying to kind of push forward now is just increasing our integrations, right? So we want to make sure that everybody that comes to our door, we can service. And so it could be just last week we had to integrate with NetSuite or Sage Intacct for accounting. Those things we have to ensure that the customer comes in and we say, yes, we know how to do that, and we have to kind of be one hat fits all.
Yeah.
And I think integrations is something that people don't really appreciate how difficult. And if you've got a team that NicklPay has a team that knows how to do integrations, get it done, it's really valuable.
100%, yes.
I mean, I don't know if you found this, but a lot of times there's a quote-unquote API, but it's not really a robust enough API. Do you guys run into that stuff?
So because we run a very nimble system, we built it from the ground up with a solid base layer.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, we've been able to integrate with systems as old as EDI, so systems as new as AI, right? And because when you talk to a company like NicklPay, we're young, we're hungry, we're flexible, we're nimble, right? You come to us and we say, yes, we can. We're definitely going to make sure that we can do it. Our largest customer, runs hundreds of millions of dollars of product through the system. And to our smallest customer, which is a single mom and pop family shop, in Alabama.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we take care of them all.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, especially in the medical industry, like, the bigger companies aren't really like innovating constantly. They leave that up to the smaller companies and then acquire those smaller companies. So it sounds like that's an advantage that you have too. Like, you can adapt much easier than some of these big companies.
100%, because we're still hungry.
Yeah.
Young, hungry, and nimble. That's pretty good. All right, let's change gears a little bit. Sure. So, how much fun are you having with this, and what causes you to lose sleep?
I lose sleep when. It's hard to say when something goes wrong because, that's a given,
happens
right?
It
happens every single day. I lose sleep over not meeting expectations, and that's a big one, especially when you come into a space where customers and investors really are giving their hard-earned business, and they trust you with. And this comes from like the fact that we work with fireworks. These are mom and pops. They're just families that are coming to you and saying, hey, this has to work or else we lose our livelihood. That's a lot of pressure. And that's what I lose sleep over. It's the possibility of not meeting that expectation.
I love that because too many big companies, it's just it's a number that they're trying to meet for the sales quota. And I love that you have a heart. I mean, it's hard being a small business owner,
It is, yes.
I love that you have that heart.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, I love this question. Have you ever felt like quitting? And if so, what keeps you going?
The answer is always, have I ever thought about it? I have gently thought about it in my 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. sprints. However, what keeps me going is the responsibility to the customer, right? And that's really what keeps me going is they come to you with a problem. You told them that you can solve it. It's up to you to now solve it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what keeps me going.
Any really good lessons that you would like to share to somebody who's listening to this is going to be going, I think I got a great idea. I'm going to start a business, and they get all excited.
Yeah.
What would you advise them that they do?
So the question I always ask my friends who come up to me and ask, is this idea good? Has someone done it before? And if not, why? and they have, and someone's always done it before, right? Because
nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun, and we'd like to think that we're extremely smart, but we're lucky. That's what it comes down to. And finally, if somebody has tried to do it before and failed, why did they fail? You figure out that, and you figure out a good answer to that, then you can keep going.
Yeah, I've always felt like when people ask me, I'm like, if you figure out why you shouldn't do it first, and if you can't get to a solid no, then you know you got a yes.
Yes.
But there were lots of. Did you ever find people just like agreeing? Oh, this is great. You're going to do great. Or did you have any naysayers that said, Kevin, like, you're crazy, you should go become the CEO of whatever?
Yeah. I like to speak to my father right now.
Dad.
And then now that it's off the ground, it's obviously his idea.
You're his retirement. He doesn't care about your retirement.
You've got to listen to them, right? Because they really have your best interest at heart, and they know how hard it is, right? A lot of people know how hard it is, and so it's now up to you to prove them wrong.
Because your dad was an entrepreneur, right?
Correct. Yes.
You grew up in an entrepreneurial household.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Golly, a lot of kids that grow up in an entrepreneurial household are like, man, I don't like bill collectors calling. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. I don't want to go through that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely difficult. Whoever thinks about starting a business and they think it's just yachts and planes, it's not. You gotta wade through the mud first.
Yeah.
But eventually, it will be yachts and planes.
Yeah, one can hope.
Maybe.
Yeah, one can hope.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, maybe. That's for sure. Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you being my guest today.
Thank you for
I
having
love
me.
your product. I mean, I've built some ERP systems and applications. I've run point of sale companies. You also have merchant processing as part of your offering too, right?
We generally we don't shy away from it, but we definitely want to ensure that flexibility is the message. So we say we offer it, but we do also recommend you look around.
Yeah. That's a good thing. I know a lot of point of sale companies will give the point of sale system away free for the merchant processing, and people don't realize they are getting potentially, not everybody, but
vendor lock, right?
Vendor lock. Yeah, and those rates go up, right? So, but Kevin, thank you for being my guest today. Jonathan, appreciate you hopping in on the Executive Bytes train.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be watching, and man, I want the best, because when you have that yacht and that jet,
we're all riding on
it. Don't forget me.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the ATDC podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and share, or connect wherever you get your podcasts. Please be sure to follow us on social media. Our handle is @ATDC on X, LinkedIn, and Instagram.